All right, shalom. Call Elohim La Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well for teaching me this truth. Salutations to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, peace, love, and blessings. Chaya here back with another video through the Spirit and Power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And I'm going to just make this video, just quick and to the point concerning the matter of dreadlocks, all right? Having dreadlocks in the faith, in this ministry, in the camp, all right? So before I get started, I just wanted to say, for you brothers that, want to grow your hair out and things of that nature, okay? Look, man, we're really not in that time, all right, for, trying to be a pretty boy and look good and you trying to hold on to, whatever type of vanity. Now, okay, according to the scriptures, yeah, it's okay to have dreads. It's Salakia. It's okay to have, braids, okay, which I'm about to go over. It's okay to have braids, okay? It's okay to grow your hair out, okay? But you got to cut it at a certain length, which is typically above the shoulder, all right? It's typically above shoulder length, all right? And like I said, I'm going to just go into that through the Spirit, all right? Concerning the matter of, dreadlocks or long hair, okay, and being in this ministry, okay, and I'm gonna get this scripture right here, this first scripture right here concerning, why a lot of Jakes today, especially from Benjamin, the so-called Jamaicans, all right, Benjamin, they grow their hair out, and they said, and a lot of them say that they're taking a Nazarite vow. All right, well, let's see if they can uphold those customs in this society today. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 5. It says, all the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head until the days be fulfilled, in the which he separated himself unto the Lord Yahweh. He shall be holy and shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow. Okay, so now this chapter is talking about the Nazarite vow. Okay, so when you read it, all right, let's look and see, all of the things that a Nazarite, of the nation of Israel, mind you, okay. Let's see what the law of the Nazarite is. It says, and I'll read it in the NLT on the right hand side, the New Living Translation. It says, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. If any of the people, either men or women, take the special vow of the Nazarite, setting themselves apart to the Lord in a special way, they must give up wine and other alcoholic drinks. Okay, so Nazarites can't drink wine or any alcoholic beverage. Okay. Now, when you look at Benjamin, or the so-called Jamaicans, all right, when you look at them, okay, what they got their long hair, long dreadlocks, long hair, don't care. All right, when you look at them, a lot of them drink, bro. Okay, a lot of these so-called Jamaicans and so-called West Indians, a lot of them drink. All right, wine, liquor, they drink all of that shit, man. All right, but here it is. They're supposed to be Nazarites, right? It says, verse 3, it says, they must give up wine and other alcoholic drinks. They must not use vinegar made from wine or from other alcoholic drinks. So they can't use vinegar either, all right? Any fermented product, okay? It says they must not drink fresh grape juice, and they must not eat grapes or raisins, okay? So none of those things. You can't touch grapes, okay? Anything alcoholic, anything fermented. Verse 4 says, as long as they are bound by their Nazarite vow, anything fermented concerning grapes. It says, as long as they are bound by their Nazarite vow, they are not allowed to eat or drink anything that comes from a grapevine, not even the grape seeds or skins. They must never cut their hair throughout the time of their vow, for they are holy and set apart to the Lord Yahweh. Until the time of their vow has been fulfilled, they must let their hair grow long. Okay, so this is something that Israelites did to get closer to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, it's an oath of sobriety. All right, to get closer to the Lord. Verse 6, it says, and they must not go near a dead body during the entire period of their vow to the Lord. Okay, so you couldn't go near a dead body. You couldn't touch a dead body. All right. Verse 7, it says, even if the dead person is their own father, mother, brother, or sister, they must not defile themselves, for the hair on their head is the symbol of their separation to the Most High. Okay, and when you look at the world today, there's a lot of murder. All right, there's a lot of murder going on today, man. Okay, hell, there's dead bodies in the food, man. All right, there's dead bodies in the food, especially your fast foods that you people love to buy and things of that nature. So here it is, you're consuming, all right, dead bodies. Okay, you're constantly around, things with grapes. Okay, so this vow would be impossible to keep in this life at this current time. All right. Verse 8, it says this requirement applies as long as they are set apart to the Lord. If someone falls dead beside them, the hair they have dedicated will be defiled. They must wait for 7 days and then shave their heads. Then they will be cleansed from their defilement. All right, well, you get the point, man. Okay, now with that being said, let's go into this word locks in verse 5. All right, number 6 and 5. Let's go into this word locks real quick, and let's see what it says. Okay. So the word for locks in the scripture is H6545, and the Hebrew word there is parai. Reading from right to left, it's pa, ra, and I. All right, parai. All right. It says hair, long hair of head, locks. Now, when you go to the root word, parai, all right, it's the same thing. It says to lead, act as leader. So that's one definition for it. All right, now definition 2, it says to let go, let loose, ignore, let alone. All right, and when you jump down to definition C, all right, which is more of the context that this word is being used in, it says to cause to refrain, to show lack of restraint, to let loose restraints. Okay, and when you look at braids, okay, in particular braids, they are restraint. Okay, and braids are really the only things as far as hair that you can let loose. You see, with dreadlocks, you can't let loose. Okay, you gotta, it'll take a long time to detangle them, man. All right, and the whole time, you're trying to detangle them. Well, the whole time that you have them, Salakia, the whole time that you have them, okay, you're just collecting a whole bunch of dirt and grime, all right, and bacteria. Okay, but when you have braids, so you can only have braids in the Nazarite vow, not dreadlocks. Okay, the word there should really be braids. Okay, so when you have these braids and things of that nature, okay, only braids you can untwist or loosen and things of that nature. You can't do that with dreadlocks. All right, let me see. Now when you look at Brown Driver Briggs lexicon and you jump down to when you jump down to point 3, it says let go, let alone. Late Hebrew, it says unbind hair. All right, unbind hair. Okay, once again, braids is the only things that you can unbind. All right, concerning your hair. All right, braids or twists. I'll say it like that. Braids or twists. Okay. Now, a lot of Jake, they want to go to the topic of Samson. All right, well, let's look at the word for locks in his hair in this particular scripture. Okay, in the case of Samson. All right, this is the book of Judges, chapter 16, verse 13. I'll just go ahead and jump into the whole chapter. Judges 16 and 13, it says, and Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head to the web. Okay, so, and you can read the whole story yourselves. All right, concerning Samson and Delilah. All right, because Samson, who was a Danite, Israelite from the tribe of Dan. All right, that is. Okay, Samson was an Israelite from the tribe of Dan. All right, he took a Nazarite vow since he took the Nazarite vow at birth. All right, the Lord commanded his parents that Samson would be a Nazarite unto him, unto the Lord. Okay. Now when you jump down to the word locks in this scripture, all right, the word is machlapa. Machlapa, from right to left is machlapa. All right. And it says braid, lock, plait of hair. All right, braid, lock, plait of hair. Okay, now the root word is khalap. All right, and it's showing words for grow up or renew. All right, or strike through or sprout. Okay, all of these things representing Samson's hair because once again with braids with plaited hair, okay, you can unfasten it, you can unloosen you can loosen it. Okay, with dreadlocks you can't loosen dreadlocks. All right, braids and twists are the only styles of hair that you can really loosen, okay, or pass through. All right. So it says braid, lock, or plait. All right. So when you look at plaited hair, okay, plaited hair. All right, look at that. It's a braid. All right. So Samson had braids, man. He had 7 braids in his head. Okay, which the number 7 represents completion. So he could have literally had 7. He could have literally had 7, or he could have just had many braids in his head. All right, but Samson had braids, not dreadlocks. Okay. Because once again, a lot of you Jakes, man, y'all try to, you try to claim this whole Nazarite vow thing. We can't keep the Nazarite vow on this side. So with that being said, cut your hair, man. All right, or just don't join the camp. All right, that disapproves of having dreadlocks or long hair. Just don't join the camp. Okay, because and the elders talk about it well, used to talk about it a lot. They still do. Okay, and certain brothers in general, the problem with you guys that that want to continue to grow your hair out is that what you don't follow order. All right, you don't like order, man, and you're really just vain. All right, you're really just vain, man. Okay, so when you look at the history of dreadlocks, this is on awremediesllc.com. All right, it says the history of dreadlocks in the Rasta movement. Now, of course, I'm not going to go into the whole article, okay? But just a little backstory. It says in our culture, now this is talking about, of course, quote unquote, black people. It says in our culture, people place various meanings on locks. Depending on who you are and where you're from, your locks may mean different things. Not to mention the history of dreadlocks is often misunderstood. Get to know the history of locks, where they may have originated, and what meaning this unique and natural process holds. Okay? So it says the earliest recording of locks, if this article is true to itself, I'll just throw that in there. It says locks in history date back as early as 2500 BC, where Hindus wore locks, or jata in the Sanskrit language. Others state the style started with the Egyptians. Historians have discovered mummified Egyptian pharaohs with their locks still intact. Tomb carvings and drawings also depicted these ancient leaders wearing their hair locked. While many people will argue where locks truly originated, there are accounts of these locked crowns in pretty much every civilization in history. And most of the time, there was a spiritual meaning of dreadlocks connected to religious beliefs. Okay, so locks pertaining to this whole backstory right here. All right, it looks like it dates back as early as 2500 BC, where Hindus, all right, Hindus, okay. Now, when you look at Hinduism, all right, this goes back to Elam, all right, the so-called East Indians. This goes back to them, okay, because their god, all right, Shiva, okay, had dreadlocks, man. Okay, so if this article is true to itself, all right, then the so-called East Indians started this, man. Okay, now Egyptians, the early Egyptians, who are the so-called Africans today, All right. They may have worn it first. Okay. They may have worn it first. All right. Because they also were early civilization, and the real Egyptians, might I add. All right. The real dark ones, the real black ones with the very dark complexion. Okay. Those Hamites. All right. Or Mizraimites. All right. They may have worn dreadlocks as well, man. Okay. But dreadlocks are not a custom of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, though we wear them. Okay, but Jake, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we have a history of taking on other people's customs. Okay, we have a history of taking on other people's customs, man. Like the Greek customs of, wearing hats and going to the gym. Okay, our people have a history of taking on other customs of these other nations, man. All right, that we are, not to be following. And proof of that, let me get that. Okay, but that was really the point with Samson. All right, so Samson had braids, man. He didn't have no damn dreadlocks. All right, that was unbeknownst to us. All right, so let me get this. So like it's still in the Old Testament. Let me get this in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. It says, "Hear ye the word which the Lord Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel." Verse 2, "Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." Okay, so that's really the point right there. That's really all I need to read. Okay, the scriptures say, "Learn not the way of the heathen." Okay, and once again, going back to this article, dreadlocks came from the Hindus. All right, 2500 BC. Okay, which stands for before Christ. All right. And they were called what? Jata, Salakia, Jata in the Sanskrit language. Okay. And then what? You have Rastafarianism, which you got a lot of Benjamites. All right, which this whole Rastafarian movement was started by Haile Selassie, if you know your history. Okay, who was a Cushite, an Egyptian, not an Egyptian, an Ethiopian, Salakia. All right, Haile Selassie, you could look him up. Okay. Because he was supposed to be portrayed as the return of who the world calls Jesus Christ, man, which is blasphemy. Okay, but he was a Cushite, okay, who ruled over Benjamin, all right, the so-called West Indians for a portion in time, man. All right, and what he brought in that Rastafarianism, okay. It says former emperor of Ethiopia. See, look, he's a Cushite. All right. Kawash. Haile Selassie is known as the Messiah and founder of the Rastafari movement, which started in Jamaica in the 1930s. He was seen as the Messiah who would lead the people of Africa to freedom. Yeah, because our people are lumped in with the Africans. Israel is lumped in with the Africans, but we're not Africans, man. All right. And the scriptures tell you that, which I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but there's a difference between, the Egyptian and the Jew. All right. Israel and the Egyptians. Okay. So there you go, man. All right. So this whole Rastafarianism, all right, was started by a heathen, man. But the scriptures say what? Learn not the way of the heathen in verse 2. Okay. So for you Jakes out there, trying to claim the whole, oh, I'm a Nazarite. Nah, I'm growing my hair because I want to get closer to God. Look, man, you're being vain, man. You're taking on customs of the heathen. All right. Dreadlocks do not belong to us. All right. Long hair does not belong to us. Okay. Now in the kingdom of heaven, all right, when we get reestablished, all right, under the real new world order of Yahushua, who the world calls Jesus Christ, who is a dark-skinned man, okay? In the kingdom of heaven, all right, you could take the Nazarite vow all you want because everything's going to be perfect in the kingdom, okay? Everything's going to be perfect in the kingdom, man. So if you want to take the Nazarite vow, all right, and grow your hair out and all of that stuff, you can do it in the kingdom of heaven, but we're not supposed to be doing that right now. It's not wise, okay? And it's out of order. I'll say it like that. It's out of order. Okay? Hey, remember Absalom had long hair. Look what happened to him. okay, in his death. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna get this one last scripture and then I'll close out. Okay, because you know, when I looked up, braids in the Bible, okay, this scripture actually did come up on Google. Okay, and a lot of asked questions was, why does the Bible speak against braids? Well, the Bible doesn't speak against braids. Okay, the Bible speaks about the pride. Okay, the pride and the vain flaunting that our people do are with their braids, especially women, especially our women, man. All right, so let me get this in the book of First Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. And let's see what it says. It says, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array. Okay, so in the NLT, that says, I want women to be modest in their appearance. Okay, let's look at modest apparel. What does modest apparel look like? All right. Well, for the most part, you see all of these women in dresses. Okay. You see all of these women in these long dresses, which is supposed to come down to their feet. All right, if you will. All right. So this would be an example loosely of modest apparel. All right, her arms, is not supposed to be showing either. Okay. But for the most part, these women in these long dresses and skirts and things of that nature, all right, this would be, loosely an example of modest apparel. All right. Or you could, go this route as well. All right. This is also modest apparel. Okay. This is how our women are supposed to be, walking around. Okay. But, all right. But because, of the elements of this society in vanity. Okay. Of course, we don't have our women looking like this right now, but they will in the kingdom. All right. Actually, all women, not just our women, but all women will be modest in the kingdom of heaven. Okay. So yeah, like they're gonna be looking like this, and it's not gonna be this boring ass black. All right, it's not among our women at least. All right, it ain't gonna be no boring, all black, so on and so forth. I mean, if you want to wear black, you can. All right, to each his own and things of that nature. But what, they're gonna be decorated. They're gonna be in beautiful patterns and arrays and things of that nature are in the kingdom of heaven. Okay. And you're not going to be, when what? Nobody's going to be able to see your shape. All right. That's modest apparel. All right. Then it says going back to verse 9, it says they should wear decent and appropriate clothing and not draw attention to themselves by the way they fix their hair or by wearing gold or pearls or even salakia or expensive clothes. All right. So there you go. All right. So right off the bat, reading this in the NLT, this makes me think of, camps like IUIC who allow women into the congregation. Okay, and what do they wear? Matter of fact, let's go ahead and look them up. IUIC, I'm going to just type in marriage. And let's see what pops up. You see, it's things like this, man. All right? When you look at these individuals in IUIC, man, they living like they're in the kingdom of heaven right now. Okay? You see, things like this is what the scriptures is talking about. See this woman right here, she's not modest, man. She's not modest at all. Okay? And now, mind you, this is not to just attack IUIC and so on and so forth. This is not for that. I'm just showing you an example. All right? These women in these other Israelite camps, they're not modest, man. All right, they living like they're in the kingdom of heaven right now. Look at this. She dressing like she in the kingdom. Him too. They dressing like they in the kingdom of heaven. This is their rest. This is how they dressing, man. All right, the Lord doesn't approve of this. Okay? Hey, keep it simple. Look at this, man. All right? We're supposed to be regarding discretion, man. This is not being discreet. All right? Being discreet is just blending in with everybody else in the world, man. Okay? But you get the point. So these individuals, All right, what are they doing? They're drawing attention to themselves, man. They're drawing very heavy attention to themselves. Okay? And what? They're going to have to deal with the consequences thereof when Esau start rolling out his troops, okay, and they start attacking. All right? They're going to have to claim that. Okay? But that was really the point on that. All right? So all right, so the point is there's nothing wrong with having your hair in braids. All right, the point is not having your hair in braids. The point is using your hair to attract attention. Okay? Because that's what the majority of women on this side want. All right, that's what they are. Excuse me, they're attention seekers. Okay, so they get all nice and dolled up. They wear these tight, scantily clad clothing. All right, they wear the shorts between their ass cheeks and so on and so forth. Okay, just to get the attention of men or people in general, but mainly men. All right. So the scriptures tell our women to be modest. All right, but this scripture, it doesn't have nothing to do with God being against braids or the Bible being against braids. Okay, but that was the point on that. Lord's willingness is edifying. No dreadlocks, no long hair. All right, the scriptures say it's against nature for a man to have long hair. Okay, you're supposed to have your hair, short like this, okay, or a mini afro. All right, like how does brother right here, he got a regular haircut. Okay, he got a regular haircut, man. All right, but with that being said, Lord's wills, you was edified. Shalom.